Avengers Assemble in two completely separate films. I'm Sasha Pearl Raver, and this is Screen Junkies News. Avengers Infinity War and the fourth Avengers film are currently filming, or are they? When the Marvel slate was initially announced in 2014, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige promised us that the Avengers Infinity War Parts 1 and 2 would film concurrently. You promised us, Feige. You promised us. But a lot's changed since then. Avengers 4 is currently untitled, and now, thanks to Collider, we've got news that the two films are shooting separately. Now, here to tell us what that actually means and whether or not it is a good or a bad thing is our very own Matt Key.
Separately? They're filming separately?
Separately?
Oh,
what does it mean,
What
Matt
does it mean?
Is it bad? Is it good? Oh, God.
Let's just all run. Let's just leave.
Will it change the dates? So right now we know that the dates for part 1, May 4th, 2018. Part 2, May 3rd, 2019.
I don't think it'll change the dates.
I don't think it'll change the dates either. I think we're pretty good on that, but we also got another quote, which I think is interesting.
Tell me, Sasha, what is this quote?
We're doing one right after another. It becomes too complicated to cross-board them like that, and we found ourselves, again, something would always pay the price. We wanted to be able to focus and shoot one movie, and then focus and shoot another movie, says El Capitan, aka Kevin Feige. So, before we started filming, Matt and I were talking about how Game of Thrones has to write all of their episodes in advance, and then they crossboard them and they shoot episode 1 will shoot with episode 5 with episode 14 or whatever. Well, they don't go 14, I wish they did. Episode 8, because they'll be in Spain and then they'll be in Iceland and then they'll be wherever, so it's too expensive to go back to those places, so they just have to shoot the one they're there. For Infinity War, to have these actors who are as expensive as going to Iceland shoot at different times seems near impossible.
Yes, it does. I think that they have the money to shoot when and wherever they want to.
That's right.
Because, they've... someone should do a study on what they're actually where they stack up against first world countries in terms of profitability, Marvel. Is Marvel a first world country at this point? In terms of their box office? Their
gross domestic product.
Their gross domestic product.
Bigger than Spain, probably.
Yeah.
Although Spain's got some real good stuff.
They do.
Lots of nice wine, that Iberico ham, all that stuff.
They've got the good stuff.
Yeah.
Spain's got the good stuff. Yeah.
Maybe smaller countries, like an island in Fiji.
Someone should do it, but I would like to see what that actually, how that stacks up.
I bet it's up there. If anybody out there is really good at math or money
or graphs or percentages,
let us know who makes more. Is it America, China, or no, it'd probably be China,
America,
India, and then Marvel? Let us know where Marvel falls.
Yeah, does Marvel make more money than the United States?
Yeah, we want to know.
Someone make a pie chart
Somebody
of that.
with money. So anyway.
Yeah, it's weird because it's you can do that in TV, so why are they having a hard time coordinating their schedules here? Here's why I think it is. I did a little digging. Back last year before Civil War came out, Anthony Russo, the Russos were speaking with IO9, and they said the movies are very, very different from one another. It's not a part 1 and part 2 scenario necessarily. They're just two different expressions. I think it creates a misconception that we're shooting them at the same time. Now, obviously they're not. So, and I couldn't find the exact quotes, but I also know that they've talked about, and the Collider article actually mentions it, that they're filming them from two, not character perspectives, but they're shooting one as a global geopolitical thriller, but then the other one is just balls to the wall action adventure. So different tones, different camera moves, different sort of just effect stuff like that. So I think that for the Russos to jump from, well, we're shooting an action adventure in this scene, and then later today we're going to shoot a very soft-spoken romance. I think that juggling the tones and the narrative perspectives was more difficult than probably juggling actor schedules and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, with the actor schedules, I was talking with a friend of mine and I was like, I don't know about all this because I know that some of the actors are booked out literally until November. Like
until
they
this
can't
is done
do
shooting,
anything else. So for the next 7 months, they are in Atlanta and they are filming. And I mean, maybe they'll go other places and there'll be sound stages and what have you.
Sure.
But there's a lot of logistical stuff going into this. I like what you're saying though about the narrative reasons.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And you feel like this is the best idea possible.
I'm actually like, I think this is great. Because as he says, like, we want to be able to focus and shoot one movie and then focus and shoot another movie. Like, yeah, do that. Like, make the best movie. I don't want to see anything like paying the price, as he says. Like, make your best damn movie and then go make your other best damn movie. Like, I want to see the best damn Avenger movies that we can get, you know?
So if they are shooting them relatively close to one another, like if they do wrap out filming by November, what do you think we're going to get in terms of spectacle, action, CGI in part 2 as opposed to part 1? Like, does it make more sense to set part 1 more on Earth and then part 2 that becomes MCU being Marvel Cosmic Universe because you can do more in space stuff because you have more time to do CGI effects?
That's actually a really good question. Thought my guess is that like previs and a lot of effects for both films have already been done, like very well vetted. They already know probably a lot of what's already going into that,
Sure.
you know. And I also know, like Zoe Saldana had a quote saying that the Avengers meet the Guardians presumably in space. Like, so the Avengers leave Earth.
Right.
Here's what I think is going on narratively. So speaking to comicbook.com, I pulled this quote before too, but we don't have a full screen of it. But I just wanted to throw this out there. You're going to be moving. So this is one of the Russo brothers. I forgot to write it down. One of the Russos speaking to comicbook.com.
They both deserve equal credit.
They do.
The Russos are one great, amazing hive mind.
Yeah. And like,
so they both get credit for this.
And I got to interview them last year, and they're tremendously nice guys.
I love them.
Like,
they're
tremendously nice guys. Very, very talented. So I want to say it was Joe. It was probably Anthony, just because if I say one of them, I'm going to get it wrong. But they said, you're going to be moving around through different perspectives of the characters. It's like Nashville for superheroes. It's storytelling that is vignetted storytelling. It's to composite all of them under one story, everybody.
Anybody who is nervous, he is not talking about Nashville, the show on CMT.
No.
He is talking about the Altman film, which is sort of vignettes from different character perspectives.
Yeah, sort of like...
don't be scared. There's not going to be a musical breakout, although that would be great.
That would be
That'd
amazing,
awesome.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Avengers
like,
4 the musical, that's what they're holding on to.
shows up and she's just like, twang! Okay, so that Nashville.
It's sort of
Nashville.
like Kurosawa also like did like Rashomon, right?
Yes.
Like where it's all like different perspectives. So
Totally.
I think that's how they mean it. And if you remember, a couple months ago, the news broke that Thanos, part of Infinity War was maybe all of Infinity War was being told from his perspective.
Sure.
So if you kind of combine all of these quotes together, I think what's probably happening in Infinity War is part one. And not the untitled Avengers film. I think what's going on is Thanos is looking for the Infinity Stones. He knows where they're at. He's going to get them. He sends his generals out to go get them. His generals being what's known as the Cull Obsidian or the Black Order. Characters like Proxima Midnight, I think Black Dwarf, Ebony Maw. These are all like very recent characters created. And
okay, I feel horrible, but I have to ask this question. So I saw on Twitter that they're looking for a stand-in for a Marvel movie, and it's for Peter Dinklage. And they literally have a picture of Peter Dinklage, but they just like blacked out his eyes as if that somehow makes him less identifiable. And you just said Black Dwarf, and my inexperience is showing, is Black Dwarf a small person?
He's not. He's actually like Space Hulk.
So who would Peter Dinklage be?
There's speculation on who he could be. A lot of people think that he might.
I feel horrible that I just asked that question, but I needed to know.
No, it's a fair question.
It's a fair question, and he's not a dwarf. He's a little person.
Very fair, and he's one of the most talented actors working today.
Oh my God, going back to the station agent, like I've been in love with him forever, and he's my favorite part of Game of Thrones, which is my favorite show of all time.
And like I thought, like X-Men, Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
I was like, they were like. He's
so great.
Yeah.
I love him. But anyway, so who could he be within this Marvel universe?
So some people are saying that he is going to be the Dwarf King from like not Asgard, but like Yggdrasil, the World Tree. I can't remember the name of like the dwarven dimension.
Okay.
But they made Mjolnir. As we see in Thor Ragnarok, Mjolnir gets shattered.
So he has to go to Dinklage to get a new
So he goes
Mjolnir.
to Dinklage to get a new Mjolnir, and a lot of people think that it'll probably end up being the ultimate version of the Mjolnir, which is like, it is still a hammer, but it kind of has like a sort of axe on the back of it. Ultimate Mjolnir.
Okay.
Other people are wondering if he's Pip the Troll, which I think is a little on the nose, and I hope that that's not the case.
Okay.
But like, he would be great for the role.
Get Andy Serkis to play that guy.
Yeah, yeah, right. But he would actually be really good for the role because he's Pip the Troll is a cigar chomping, like hey toots kind of like drinker, you know,
Nice.
like heavy drinking, like just that
Does he
kind of
drink
guy.
and does he know things?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So
yeah.
Dinklage is great for that.
Yeah.
Totally.
But he teams up with Adam Warlock, who James Gunn just said like, oh, I had him in a draft of the film.
Yeah.
He's not in Guardians 2, but he's a big part of the Marvel Cosmic Universe. It would be interesting if Dinklage was Pip the Troll because Pip the Troll, Gamora, and Drax, along with Adam Warlock, ended up starting something called the Infinity Watch. To watch over the stones after that had defeated Thanos. So that could be an interesting way for the Marvel Cosmic Universe to go. And that would mean if Dinklage was Pip the Troll, he would be a bigger part of the Marvel Cosmic in Phase 4 moving forward.
Awesome. That would make me incredibly happy.
So, but just to get off of Dinklage, I mean, no one wants to get off of Dinklage.
Never.
We could talk about it forever. But I think what might be happening is Thanos sends out his Cull Obsidian to go collect the stones for him, and we get vignettes because he, like, let's say he sends Ebony Maw, one of his generals, to Doctor Strange to get the Time Stone. Now we have that Doctor Strange vignette that we're intersplicing with someone else going to get the Space Stone from Asgard or wherever it ends up after Thor Ragnarok. And in the meantime, Thanos is pulling the strings. That would be part one.
Part two becomes...
Part two, I think, would be interesting if they called it Infinity Gauntlet, and it's actually Thanos with the full gauntlet attacking everything now. He's like, I've got the stones and screw the whole universe now. I think that that's a way that they could go.
And then that makes more sense in terms of bringing Adam Warlock in from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and becoming a bigger part as we move forward into Stage 4 because there's the gauntlet right there.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
That's just like tremendous amounts of speculation, and I have no information to base it on except for a handful of quotes and knowledge of comics from 1992. So that's kind of all I got.
More knowledge than I have. And for that, I am grateful to you, Matt Key, and to the Russo brothers for making a really great movie. And whatever time you guys need, you take your time. You need to do it in 2 separate movies, you do it in 2 separate movies.
You do you, boo.
You do you, boo-boo. We want to know, though, did any of what Matt Key make sense? Did any of what Matt Key make sense?
Do Matt Key make sense?
Do Matt Key make sense? Did what Matt Key have to say make sense? Do you agree with this? And how do you feel about them breaking these films up separately and shooting them as their own individual things? Let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can click here for more Screen Junkies news. And I love you, Peter Dinklage.